Wow, this is a live production. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Uh, we all know that the once active shooter, Robert Card, has been found and he is no longer a threat, fortunately. Unfortunately for his family, he is no longer in life. I know that cannot be easy for them, but we have a lot of pain. There's enough pain to go around in the town of Lewiston, Maine. So you saw the title, and I'm wondering, just like a lot of the journalists that were at the press conferences, was this an oversight? Because Robert Card was basically found at his place of work, and the man was targeting places that were known to him. Of course, the Just-in-Time Recreation Center where he was looking for his girlfriend, and Schemengees Bar and Grill where Robert was a patron on a weekly basis because he is a hearing impaired person and he took part in a competition that was made up of other people that were hearing impaired. And a lot of those people were his friends, and he happened to kill 4 of his close associates or friends, people that he competed with and had a healthy competition every Wednesday at that bar. I did another video about this. There's so much going on here. And I don't understand, like the reporters. I'm going to play a bit of the interview that happened, the press conference that happened earlier today, but journalists have been frustrated early on. I mean, this is something that only lasted 2 days, but journalists have been upset early on at the language being used by Governor Janet Mills and the Commissioner Sawchuk, calling him a person of interest. I think these are young journalists. They don't like the language. They're not feeling it at all. But the fact that this huge, let me make sure you see the picture of that. I'm going to scoot over to that right now. The picture of that landing. I mean, this is a huge area. If you look at the car, that could give you an idea about the scale of this place. We're talking about the search was comprised of 350 official members of law enforcement. No telling how many people from the community, because this is a community of hunters. And I'm sure there's some people in the community, I'm assuming, and I feel bold enough to assume that they would deputize some of these people to go on the hunt for this man. Now, again, he went to obvious places. So in this place, it's an overflow parking lot of the place where he was last employed. Another source of frustration because they fired him. Why this would not be an obvious place that they would look. But I'm going to play this interview. We can look at it, listen to it together. I have to put my headphones on for that. We can listen to it together, and then I'm going to read an article that sheds much more light than they did in the press conference. But let's listen to that press conference. Oh, I'm just going to start playing it. And I'll get my headphones together later. My cable just came out. The first question, you're not going to hear that clearly, but you'll clearly hear the answer, and everything else will be at an audible level.
Was there any belief at this time that the suspect was dead before finding him, or did this come as a brand new revelation that never stopped coming before this?
So our reality here is that the search has been extensive. It's been thorough. It's been nonstop since the minute we started speaking with you and long before that. So all of these options are on the table, as we knew. We continue to search locations, in some cases multiple times, and we will have more information about exactly how this went down. We're going to have another briefing tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and I would please encourage you to think about next steps from your end, information that you would find important. I will say that this is not going to be a long Q&A this evening. We wanted to make sure that we got this information out as fast as possible and as responsible as possible. And what I mean by that is that the time between the notification of the press release and now, there wasn't a lot of details there. There wasn't a lot of details there because we wanted to talk to the victims' families. We wanted to say, this is coming. It's important that they heard that information as close to first as anybody else. And you know who else we called? Was the family of the suspect. And they lost a loved one in this scenario. And there were many of that family that was very cooperative with us throughout. So they deserve that phone call. So we had those conversations tonight before joining you here. We also got a chance to spend some time with the brothers and sisters of law enforcement and our public safety partners that have been so incredibly helpful over the last few days, to say the least. So, one second. So right here, sir.
Where exactly did you find him and when exactly?
So at 7:45 this evening is when Mr. Card was located. I won't give you an exact address. It was near the river along Androscoggin in Lisbon Falls was the actual location. Ma'am, did you have a question? Ma'am, did you have a question?
When did you think he died?
That all remains to be seen, right? So our reality is that we found that body at 7:45 and it's 10:25 now. So there continues to be a lot of work that needs to be done here at the scene with the medical examiner's office. So there's a much more follow-up to what happened. But, sir, did you have a question?
Any indication that he had an accomplice and how was he found?
I won't be able to answer either one of those questions at this point. Accomplices and things of that nature, we've had no indication of that since the very beginning. But as we've talked about before, these next steps are going to gives us an opportunity to do things as fast as we can in the sense that we want to provide closure and information, but also slow things down a little bit because we need to look at video evidence, we need to look at the various pieces of technology that are in play here, in hopes that that gives us some additional information around some of the things that you're going to be concerned about. Yes, ma'am? Yeah, I'm happy to take a look at that information in hopes that I can get that back to you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. That remains to be seen. Again, we have attorney generals that we need to work with and other individuals that are in play here. I'm going to take a couple more questions, again with the mindset that it's 10 o'clock tonight, and we do want to come back tomorrow morning to have this conversation. Right here. Yeah, sure. So I think that that was an ongoing conversation since the minute we actually put that in place. We knew that that was an important decision. Certainly from our perspective, it made complete sense to put that order in place immediately based on the violent nature and the traumatic nature of these crimes. And as things progressed over the next few days, since Wednesday to now, we've had a lot of conversations with various town and city leadership, with the governor's office, with Chief St. Pierre, with business owners, with residents, and we have to have that balancing act of pluses and minuses. And we had that initial surge with those communities, and those communities made perfect sense for an order, and as things tended to slow down, we didn't have any immediate threats, we made the decision to back off that. I would also just want to mention this because a fellow commissioner had asked me to do this, and I could walk out of here before forgetting it, but Commissioner Camuso said that, and passed along, that actually that hunting restriction has been lifted as well. So the resident hunting opportunity for tomorrow is open across the state of Maine to include those 4 communities. There's a lot of phone calls that she would receive around that. But right here, ma'am? Yes, I can confirm that. It's an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Did you have a question, ma'am? I didn't state that we had searched that area before, so okay. As we have stated in the past, we try to use information that we can confirm one way or the other. So your reporting can say something one way or the other, and that's fine. We can talk about that again tomorrow morning, but I think we're done taking questions for this evening. Thank you very much for your patience, and we will see you soon. Thank you very much. Thank you.
He's ducking out. He's ducking out, and the governor is ducking out as well. I'm going to read a bit of this article just in what he avoided. And like I was saying, the journalists on site, they have been frustrated at the way their questions have been evaded. You see, he just evaded that question because they took the shelter in place. They lifted that noon of the same day that they found him, that they reported to find him. And I know that there's protocol, and for the sake of the integrity of the investigation, you can't tell the public everything. But I mean, I don't even see how this man could have survived the night. That is my speculation, but we know this year already in America, we have had over 550 mass casualty events with these shooters. So I also asked the question, is the goal to bring these people in dead or alive? It seems to me, please, somebody let me know. It really seems like there's some kind of unwritten policy that they're not really trying to bring these people in. I don't know what it is that they're allowed to off themselves or whatever, but I cannot believe that 350 skilled officers could not make the assumption to go to his place of work, because this man is targeting places that caused him frustration. Maybe I should go to this article. This is live, it's unscripted, and there's so much going on. But let me go to this article, like I was saying, or trying to sign during that press conference. They did say that they looked in that area, but they seem to have overlooked the fact that this place of business had a spill-off area for these trailers. I don't believe, it's my speculation, I don't believe that Robert Card, the shooter, planned to sleep in one of those trailers through the night. This is a horrible thing, and I don't mean to be insensitive to his family, but he left a suicide note to his son, full of frustration. And it seemed clear that this man didn't want to be here anymore. Like most of these shooters, I don't think you commit an act like that and you want to be taken into custody and you want to explain yourself. These people, I don't know what gets a hold of the mind that takes people to this level, but I cannot recall a case when a person didn't want to be here anymore and definitely didn't want to surrender. So let me go to this article, because this is strange that they are so evasive during these press conferences, but someone writing for the Daily Mail can give so much information. I'm not going to read all of it, but it says, Maine mass shooter Robert Card's body was found inside industrial trailer after police had cleared the area twice. As officials reveal how disturbed killer passed background check and defends giving guns to the mentally ill. So there's a lot going on here. These are some bullet points that they write out. Card's body was found at the back of an industrial tractor trailer. The gunman died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Officials admitted on Saturday they cleared the area twice previously. Now we'll get into the article. The Maine mass shooter's body was discovered at the back of an industrial tractor trailer in an area that investigators admit they previously cleared twice. Army reservist Robert Card, 40, was found at around 7 p.m. on Friday evening, 2 days after he opened fire in a bowling alley and bar, killing 18 people and injuring 13 others. That's over 30 people. The body was discovered by a Maine Recycling Corporation plant he was recently fired from, just a short walk from where the killer's vehicle was first found roughly 4 hours after the shooting erupted. So they could have found this man. Mike Shawshak, Maine's public safety commissioner, revealed in a Saturday morning press conference that the manhunt scoured the plant twice and said officials only returned to the area at the direction of the factory's manager. The factory's manager requested that they come back. He said the location where the body was found was in an overflow parking lot containing roughly 60 trailers, which officials did not realize existed. Now, let me go back to that, leave that still, because this is a massive area. I just want to give you the visual. And you see there, again, for scale, you can see this car right here. This is a massive area, and this is just one cropped shot of that area. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I don't want to criticize people for the way that they do their job, but it does seem like something else is going on. And hey, maybe in law enforcement, they do things, especially in these kind of situations with these shooters opening fire, these mass casualty events. I think there's some kind of unwritten policy. And I'm going to get back to this article, even though I'm not going to read all of it. It doesn't seem like that's the goal, to bring them in alive. And I could see that not being the priority, because the priority is to preserve the life and the safety of the community. But something's going on here. And I did do a little research about what is the protocol, what is the priority, what is the modus operandi. And it just didn't, I just can't see anything clear. And okay, maybe there isn't a clear answer, but maybe somebody can help me, because this is wild. Let me go on. Mike Shawshak, I said this already, Maine's public safety commissioner, revealed in a Saturday morning press conference that the manhunt scoured the plant twice and said officials only returned to the area at the direction of the factory's manager. That's worth saying twice. He said the location where the body was found was in an overflow parking lot containing roughly 60 trailers. Is that not massive? Which officials did not realize existed, but they searched for him on foot. Nobody had any idea that across the street there was an overflow parking lot, he said. Why wouldn't you have an idea? Why wouldn't you question the manager, the people that run that plant? I have to scroll through some pictures here. It just is very troubling. Okay, here it is. Shawshak revealed that Carr's body was found alongside 2 firearms and appeared to be wearing the same sweatshirt he was seen wearing in surveillance images. There's just a couple more lines, and I know there's something concrete here. His final movements may have taken him alongside a secluded, disused railroad track, which leads directly to his abandoned vehicle and to the recycling plant where his body was found. Police had closely guarded the entrance to the trail on Friday night after Carr's body was found, but DailyMail.com was able to walk the route on Saturday morning. So they freed up the area. The walking trail, which runs southeast along the bank of the Androsian River, is a direct path where his vehicle was found on Wednesday night by a boat dock to the large industrial complex where the recycling plant is located. The path runs adjacent to this disused railroad. The officer who was stationed inside the perimeter of the recycling complex told DailyMail.com on Saturday that the path may have been Carr's final footsteps. Let me just go. The officer pointed out the parking lot. Okay. The secluded trail is well hidden from the nearby main road, Lisbon Street. There are several points which leads directly into the site where the recycling plant is located. At one point, the path leads into a parking lot where a torn section of the police tape was still in place Saturday morning. Exclusive drone footage shows police officers stood guard around the overflow parking lot. Let me just stop for a second, because, people use Daily Mail's articles, and they put a lot of fluff in there. But look, they use drones. Let's go back 350 law enforcement officials, Coast Guards, FBI, drones, dogs. They know that this man is somewhat of a survivalist. He could be anywhere. He could be up a tree. He abandoned his car. It is probably the most obvious thing. The first thought is that he is on foot. So why would you not go into every corner and crevice where this man could have possibly gone? He could have even dug a trench for himself. This is the kind of dude Robert Card is. I did another video about his family. They are gun enthusiasts, hunting enthusiasts. People say that he was trained as an Army reservist, but he was not actually really trained, not even to use a gun, because he demonstrated erratic behavior. But let me say this, because I have a feeling I'm going to wrap up soon. There's a lot of talk about his having heard voices and him getting this mental health evaluation. He was recently outfitted with some hearing aids. And he said when he was using these hearing aids, that he was able to hear people at the bowling alley and at Schemengees Bar and Grill, where he played cornhole. He could hear people talking about him. And you know, these hearing aids, they don't just allow you to hear, they amplify the things around you. So I don't want to condone anything that he's done, but it could very well be that the voices were amplified around him. The man lived on a compound with his family at 40 years old. He didn't seem to be very stable, and everyone in the community knew that he had issues of some sort. Maybe it was just frustration. He did have a girlfriend, so someone was trying to tolerate him. He managed to keep a bank account. So the idea that this man was just, you have to be in some kind of horrible place to do this to innocent people, to do this to your friends and neighbors. And that's what he did. He targeted his friends and neighbors. Why he wiped out children. It's just ruthless, and he had no concern for innocence. But the man, everyone knew that something was going on with him. I think I should just really get ready to wrap this up. I did another video about this. The community, his family was making a call to him that they can work things out. And even when I was reading about that his family was making this call that, hey, we can work this all out. I guess that's instinctive for a family. This is all happening so fast. You don't want to believe that your loved one, even though they did these heinous things, that law enforcement would wipe them out. But when I'm reading that, I'm thinking to myself, this man is not going to make it home. You don't make it home when you do these things. And I don't think he planned to make it home writing this suicide letter. And he was able to execute this with some kind of efficiency. And even though this community is full of hunters and gun enthusiasts, no one was able to take this man down. This is a community of hunters, gun owners. So it's really saying a lot. This man, he has a social media account, and people say, you can research it for yourself. People say that he says some very conspiracy-oriented things. He has a lot going on in his head. So I think I'm going to get ready to wrap this up. But the journalist, like I said, and I'm of the same mind, I'm kind of like frustrated with the language that they use and I respect that they have to do their job, but they put in a lot of time in avoiding answering questions. But I do thank you for joining me. I do other videos, and I send prayers out to the entire family. And I pray for their healing and the healing of the nation, because something is really, really wrong. And even something's really strange here with this man, Robert Card, being right under authorities' nose. Their noses, 350 noses minimum. There might have been, like I said, more people involved in this manhunt. Yeah. But next time, I just jumped on. This is live. It's unscripted. Next time I will do things in a more scripted way. But I do thank you for joining me. May you all be well and keep living your life like it's golden. Peace.